All right. Finally getting back to doing some painting on some of these guys. Been quite a while, but hopefully everything goes well and I don't have to worry too much about anything too technical. This one. I wanted to do blue, but I think I'm just going to recoat this guy in gray. Need a bit of a whiter brush though. This'll work. Just get What's up, Kamu? How you doing? Ooh. Oh, that's good to hear. And I'm alright. I'm just trying to rebase coat this guy. I started this many months ago, but I kind of messed up on the blue speed paint when I was trying to get a decent effect on his bug, like, carapace. And I just kind of never came back or finished or fixed him. So, mostly just taking today so I can finish this guy, finish these three, and then I also want to get started on this and finish my axe. Oh, just trying to get through my backlog because recently I've been focusing so much on my Warhammer minis. I haven't really been finishing on my, and I kind of need to because I need them for encounters for my party. Because I am DMing and I do like to use actual minis and not proxies when possible. So that's just kind of what I've been up to for right now. Painting my rats earlier because I need to finish this behemoth. But I want to take a break just because my eyes were hurting from all the details on that. Granted, my eyes are going to hurt from the details on all of my minis because I don't like simple ones. But just trying to get through, get things figured out. And I want to see if I can save this guy. But first I just need to get a gray on him again. Because I think instead of blue, I'm just going to try for a green to see what happens if I can get him to be a green bug instead of a blue bug. Blue did not work, but maybe I can get like a green black to work better. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. Granted, my original idea for the color scheme was Cocytus from Overlord, so I might have been a little overzealous with trying to match that color. But in my defense, Cocytus is worth the effort, and he was worth a shot, because it's literally just a four-armed bug monster with a thick carapace. If I just gave him weapons, he would be a Cocytus with a different head. And I think Cocytus has 6 arms and not 4, but it's been a hot minute since I last watched Overlord, so I could be very wrong on that. I could be very wrong on that, is what I meant to say. OPM? I don't know what OPM is. What is that? Oh, is that One Punch Man? Wait. Is that One Punch Man? I might be losing some weeb cred here because I... Give me a few seconds. Because... Yes, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, this is a mini that was made to be that references a D&D monster. It's the Umber Hulk from D&D. However, I struggle with buying official like minis from Wizards of the Coast because they don't really update or do much with their mini line. And I don't like how a lot of them are based. Like, for example, this is an official alligator mini that I bought because I was at one of my local game stores. I need a Petsukos, so I kit bashed a little pharaoh crown on top of his head with some milliput. But that's, for example, if I take a normal D&D mini, I'm going to grab my 28mm person because I got a 28mm human. This is a 28mm human, and this is the average crocodile. It's a little... I'm not saying they're wrong, but this is like a 50 to 60-year-old croc, and this is like a 20-year-old woman. That's a massive size difference. So, and not to mention again, the pose is fine. That base takes up so much space on the table, though, it's kind of annoying to use. So, I don't mind how some of the official D&D minis, but I've just seen better ones made on Etsy, and so I buy most of my minis for D&D, especially the monsters, on Etsy. Just better quality, cheaper price, and it just feels more reliable. Especially because if I search through the backlog of on Hasbro's website for D&D minis, good lord, that place is so disorganized. They just kind of put all the minis in one area and like 3 tabs ago. You want something specific? I hope you know the name and don't want to scroll through the monsters, because you ain't finding shit if you don't know a specific name. So it's definitely a bit of a struggle, because I would like to, officially support things, but if the official products kind of suck, I'm just not going to do that. Kind of like the official Baldur's Gate 3 minis that came out. The pre-painted ones that were like $50 a piece that everybody was making fun of because they were just awful. I just can't get behind some of the official minis. They're not necessarily all bad, besides the pre-painted ones, but I would be lying if I called a lot of them good. Then also, they still have minis that I think they're still making that are from like older editions, so like first edition, third edition, and all of that, which are fine if you like that art style. But as minis have progressed and they've become a bit more, I would say, realistic in proportions, I kind of prefer the realism more. Some of the older, goofier stuff is fine, but it's not really to my taste. And I'm not going to buy something I don't want to paint myself, So, just a lot of busy work. Whereas if I want a specific monster, I can just type it out on Etsy. 15 people will have a store selling different models that I can just buy. Like an Umber Hulk, like this guy. The store I got him from Etsy had like 3 different poses for him. And I just went with this one because this is the pose that was a bit more open, so it'd be easier to paint everything. Because the other one had his 2 arms holding a giant rock above him. But considering how these guys are sometimes based, I was afraid that mini was just going to topple over every time I tried to move it. So I did not buy that one, though I was very close to. But I'll probably get that one so I can have a pair of them. Especially because I like Umber Hulks as encounters in D&D, just because it's fun to have like 2 or 3 of them against a low-level party. Because that way the party really has to work together to make sure they don't all die from a very sizable threat. But that's also partially an issue on me because I like doing a lot of horde-style encounters when I DM for D&D. Because I like letting my players be overpowered, but to compensate, I try to throw an extra, like a large horde that they fight against. So that way I get some hits in there and so that a battle is not easy for them. Because I've noticed with my style, since I let people get strong items and some people are really good at min-maxing, a lot of basic encounters don't work on people when you allow them to go crazy. And if I want my players to have fun, I like to let them go crazy a little. But if they go crazy with power, I gotta find a way to humble them. But I also focus a lot on status effects whenever I fight people. Because at the very least, with the status effect, you can't just muscle your way through it. You have to work around a gimmick. And I prefer that a lot more to just simply going, oh, hey, you did half the creature's HP and damage with a very powerful attack. Congratulations. Like, nothing too hard either. I'm not using purple worms and poisoning the entire party. But, a little bit of poison, maybe some paralysis, petrification, something. Just to get my party to think a little bit whenever they fight. Fights are just as much wits as they are actual raw power. And if I only build so my party only has to worry about power, then I have made my encounters weak. Or at least I've made my encounters less memorable for my party whenever I DM and I do that. I forgot how difficult it was, though, to get all the cracks and crevices on this guy. He is very detailed. And because of that, this is taking a lot longer to slather on than I expected. Oh, hey, Nothing Killer. How's it going, man? Ooh. We are. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. And thank you. Good to hear everything's going great over there, man. And yeah, I'm trying to finish my backlog of minis because I've been trying to do all my Warhammer stuff, but I also technically I have 4 models, but I don't know where the second one of these went. But I've got 4 of these guys I need to finish painting up. I've had this mermaid primed and ready to paint for like 3 to 4 months now, and I've never done it. And there's an important NPC in my campaign, and I haven't done that. So how did that get together go for the girl? Get together. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to think back because I know we talked about this. Crap. Oh no, I'm drawing a blank. Through the church. Yeah, no, I know what. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that was the dance, right? The barn dance I was talking about. I think that was it, right? Yep. It was a dance. Okay, yeah. The dance went well. I broke off the heel of my boot during the dance. Do I have my boots nearby to show you? Hold on. I might as well grab it so I can show you the kind of damage I did. Because I was having a little bit of fun. Just a little. Where did that boot go? Oh, this is why I don't put off doing laundry. Gosh dang it. There's one, and where's the second one? Ha! Okay. I get done a little bit. Hold on, I gotta bring the camera back a little bit so I can show you. Basically, so I have some fancy pair of boots I bought when I was living in Mexico, and I broke off the bottom of my heel. So I need to go find somebody in my local area who can fix boots, because I really like this pair and I spent quite a bit of money on them. However, wherever I'm going to find somebody who can actually fix those, it's going to be a long time. Thank you. I've had those boots since like 2019, I think. Yeah, it was 2019 when I bought them. Yep. They're fake scales though. That's not real crocodile. It's just a boar leather. But I got them on a massive discount as like I think 1,500 pesos for the set, like for the pair. And they've been pretty comfortable. They've been good to me. But yeah, I was doing the Russian like dance, the one where you kick your legs out in front when you're squatting over. Yeah, I was doing that and I broke off the bottom of that heel. Oh yeah, no, they look and feel great. It's kind of why I'm trying to find somebody who can fix them because I still have the heel piece. I just need to find somebody in my area who fixes shoes, specifically boots, and cobblers aren't around that often now. Because for the most part, you don't get fancy shoes and keep fixing them anymore. You kind of just buy a new pair when they break. So I'm told there's some leather workers like, and I think it's like 45 minutes north of where I'm from, like an hour or so. So I'm only 6 foot. I'm not that tall. As compared to the rest of my family that are 6'2" and taller, I am a shrimp. Are only in Mexico they're a size 9, that which is roughly like a size 11 and a half, size 12. Yeah. Yeah, here in Oregon, I don't hear too much about like I know a lot of leather workers, but I don't know a lot of people who do boot repairs because being able to make a belt and fixing the heel off a boot are similar but different skill sets. So I'm not discounting any of the leather workers in my area because I know there's some good ones. I just don't know if they'd be up to the task, you know? Oh, I'm aware in Mexico. I kept banging my head on everything when I was walking on the sidewalk. I hit so many street signs that some of the locals straight up would ask me, "Are you brain damaged at all from anything?" Just like, "No, I don't think so. Not more than I already am." They just go, "Well, you keep hitting your head on my store sign every time you come to shop here. So, are you okay?" So, yeah, I definitely cracked my I'm certain I cracked my skull a few times because I kept running into signs there. But we'll never know because I I went to the doctor once when I was in Mexico, and that's when I found out I'm allergic to penicillin. So that was not a good week for me. I mean, I'm glad I found out I'm allergic to penicillin in a not hazardous environment, but at the same time, still not a fun time to learn that. Yeah, no, I was so I was working as a missionary. I had had a fever, and so as the culture in Mexico is, if you're sick for like more than 2 days, you can't afford that, so you got to go to back to work. So everybody just goes to the doctor to get a cheap shot of penicillin, and then they are normally up and running and back to work within like a day or two. You're 6'3"? Oh yeah, you had it worse than me then. But yeah, so my companion who was from Ecuador at the time, my coworker, he was like, "Okay, we're going to the doctor. You're getting a shot. We're getting you back on your feet so you can start working again." I'm like, all right, fine. If you want me to go waste money on a shot, I'll go waste money on a shot." I got a shot and I was out for another week. I was on the mend too. I thought I was getting better from my fever. He made me pay for the shot. I got the shot. The doctor gave me another shot and said, "Okay, make sure to take this when you're over the once the effects wear off in if like a I think it was like in a day or so." I threw that away, needle and all. I'm just like, screw this. Because if me getting over a fever and my best chance is to then get another fever, even worse, I'm not liking my chances there. So, It was very much an I told you so moment. Not one I wanted to have, but definitely had one. But you know what they say, haste makes waste, and haste laid me to waste quite quickly there. But yeah. Hilariously enough, I was, last week when I was at work, one of my I was talking to some of my coworkers. I still remember a decent amount of my Spanish, not all of it. I'm definitely not as fluent and conversational as I used to be. But we were talking, and they just went, and one of them just said, "Yeah, I want to go back to Mexico." And I just said the same thing, and I just went, "Yeah, no, I do too." She goes, "Really? Why?" I'm like, honestly, life was simple there. Life was very simple in Mexico, and I appreciated it. The people were simple. Things were just not as complicated as they are here. However, I live in Oregon, so it's a very complicated area thanks to the fact that Californians keep moving in. Oh, yeah, no, the food is amazing in Mexico. It is to die for, and I have not found despite living in such a heavily populated Latino area, I have not found anybody who can make pozole. And I'm not talking like normal pozole, I'm talking like pozole blanco. Oh, yeah? Which area in Oregon? If you don't mind me asking. Because I've mostly lived in the valley and on the coast, and I want to move back to the coast, but living on the coast requires a lot of money, especially since now everything's at California prices. But I like living here, despite its flaws, because Oregon has many flaws. Oh, okay. That's a good. I've heard good things about that area. I haven't been there too often, so I can't say for certain, but Class-Canadian Rainier. I know. I hear everybody say good things about the areas near Rainier. Ah, okay. Just about done with this guy. Well, that's good. I'm glad you liked it. Because as much as I would criticize Oregon for things, I do enjoy when people actually do enjoy my state, because I do think there's a lot of redeeming qualities to it. There's some things against us, especially Portland. Just got to say Portland, and I agree with you. But for the most part, I really love Oregon just for everything. Oh, that sounds about right, yeah. Which reminds me, I still want to go hunt a black bear. I really just want I want to get some fur, and I want to make a black bear like poncho. I agree with you there. It's mostly Californians. It's mostly Californians. Californians are leaving California and coming to Oregon, and it shows in a lot of our areas, especially Portland. Especially Portland. Hey, James. Oh, hey, you're here. Wait, I need to. Oops. Hope I didn't tap him wrong. I need to show you something, James. So I was able to get. So earlier, I was able to get the silver on the runes in front of the gun. So I was able to get that done. Because I remember you mentioning that. I liked the idea. I just didn't have time to do it yet. Super cool to have a black bear poncho. Oh, yeah, no, I've got a whole planned out. For the black bear poncho, I want to do the fur for it, but then I want to take it to a taxidermist and leave the top of the skull in. So that way I can, whenever I pull the hood over, I've got the black bear, like, top of the mouth, and then the skull over the top. So that way I've got a little bit of structure to that hood. It is on my bucket list of something I want because I would really like to have that. That's the main idea, at least. Outside of that, I'd probably try to take the rest of the actual black bear pelt, and I don't know if I'd make it a rug, though. I'd probably just make it into a blanket. Yep. I'm Native American, and my tribal animal is the black bear. So I want to have a little bit of heritage with it. And so that's kind of why I want to go for like my totem animal. Just to show like, yeah, I've got some ties to things, but I want to show that I wear my ties with me. But also part of that is I want to wrestle the said black bear hand to hand. So that's why I've been going to the gym as much as I can, is so I can try to bulk up for it. You have? Oh, hells yeah. Oh, Scandinavian heritage? Nice. Okay. It is what it is, man. I'm just the son of the runt in my family, so I'm used to being tiny. Which some of my friends keep yelling at me I should stop saying I feel tiny. Rollo the Walker is my eldest. Oh, okay. So how's my day? Honestly, my day's been pretty good so far. I was able to get my check-in, I paid some bills, and I did some grocery shopping. And I just kind of spent some time relaxing because I've been stressed out of my mind from work lately. We're not we're not necessarily understaffed, but I've just been picking up extra shifts at work. It's been tiring me out. So I'm just like, yesterday I was a walking corpse. I almost fell asleep while standing at work. It was bad. So it was nice to have today, and I also technically have tomorrow off, so I'll be streaming tomorrow as well. But it was nice to have today off just to relax a little bit and not do too many things. So I got one stream done. Was just trying to work on the Skaven, but now I got this stream because I want to work on getting my Yuan T done, and I want to get the mermaid painted as well. But baby steps here, because thankfully I just finished the Umber Hulk. They called him the Walker because in his letters he got too big for his horse. Oh my goodness. That sounds exactly right, though. That's a fun kind of stories that you hear about people. Most of what I hear as far as stories go in my family is I just hear names because I started doing my family history. And as far as family history goes with my family, they have some interesting names. I've got questions about how those came about. My favorite of my family is a distant uncle of mine called Chicken Don't Swim. I have no idea how that man got that name, but I am very curious to find out how on earth in a tribe you get the name Chicken Don't Swim. Because there has to be a story behind that. Like, that's too funny and too good of a name to just throw away on a whim. Like, that, there is something in that. Okay. So I'm going to set the Umber Hulk back a bit. I want to test something. Because originally on this mini, I did brass, but I'm not certain if I like the brass. So want to try something a bit dirtier. How it looks. But yeah, no, with my family, the names have to carry stories. Because there's no way you have somebody named Chicken Don't Swim and not have a story behind how they got that name. There's also Bear Woman, which I really want to know what happened there. My last coat of arms before we came here was the Saint-Tache Le Blanc. Saint-Tache Le Blanc, I think that's how that's said, because that's, I assume that's French. And now that I think about it, why did we stop doing coat of arms? Like, was there a actual reason why we stopped doing coat of arms stuff? Because I know families used to do it, and then it just, but I don't know why we stopped. I'm very curious to know why. No more monarchy? I mean, I may not like kings, but I don't know, wouldn't the aristocracy and the higher-ups also have had it? Or did they just do away with it because if the king doesn't do it anymore, we don't do it anymore? Was it that kind of deal? Well, yeah. I knew it was a trace of lineage, but that's kind of where I'm like, I mean, it's an effective trace of lineage because, let's be real, everybody just enjoys having a coat of arms. That's just kind of badass as far as anybody can say. It was really just the king did away with it, so we're doing away with it. Man, that's. I understand why, but I'm not a big fan. Thank you, Shake. Thank you. I think. Not all families have them. Well, I know not all families had them, but why couldn't you make your own? Like, why did we just give up entirely on that instead of just making your own to respect your heritage and build something for your future? At least in my mind, it would have gone with the whole thing is they split and kept splitting. Fair. I would just thought it might be a little bit more fun just to have a heritage that you uphold and that you encourage others to keep with it. Because I know for me, I don't. Most of my heritage is kind of unknown. And so one thing that I've always wanted to do is just make my own coat of arms. So that way it's, hey, this is my family, this is who we are, what we're doing, so we can trace something. Because even if it's not official, if it's an unofficial one that's never recognized, I just want to have something there, you know? They had to be passed down, adopted, or married into by the royal families. Ah. That makes sense. But I'd like to think that nowadays we don't really uphold with monarchies that much. Why don't we just revive it? Eventually they would be given recognition by the church. Ah. And that's how the church ties into all of it. Okay. Some countries still have and use them. Oh, fair enough. Do you know that a group of crows is called a murder? Oh, yeah. It's why I like it when a bunch of crows get on the dance floor. You can say there's a murder in the dance floor. It is an awesome time. But also, hello, Crab. How's it going? Okay. We're going to get started on getting this one done as well. I've had you primed for months. I need to paint this. Haven't passed out yet? Well, that's good. I hope. Does it mean that you just can't sleep? In which case, I do hope you can sleep soon and get enough sleep before tomorrow. But I assume work's been long then? Some of the royal families are still looking for the rest of their family throughout the world. Really? Huh. Probably the best I don't get on the topic of work. You know what? Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Enough said there. Yeah, no. Jumping back to Killer for a second. Because one thing I've wanted to do is, so due to family drama, I want to change my last name, but I don't want to take like any of my current family names. I either want to jump back into my past to see if there's a name I like better, or if I just want to change my name entirely to something new, just because, again, family drama, so I don't want to go into too deep there about my reasons, but I just want to start like my own kind of family, just to say, regardless of where we came from, this is who we currently are, and we work with that in mind, you know? They fired me and my wife for bullshit reasons. Yeah, no, I understand there. They want to enter them into the family tree records. This can be good and bad. Ooh, yeah. I like family trees as far as they go, but there can definitely be drama once the family tree gets involved on things. And there's also the joke of that one meme. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like, roses are red, something is wrong. And then the guy's t-shirt says, I found my wife on ancestry.com. You know, those kinds of shenanigans happen. Change it to my family's last name, join us Thanksgiving and see how long until someone asks questions. I mean, I'd be tempted just to see how long we can make that meme last. Yeah, searching our family's past can explain plenty about why we are who we are. Honestly, yeah. Because I want to keep my family ties, but I don't. It's kind of the whole thing is when you inherit a name, you inherit their legacy and everything about them. And quite honestly, with some decisions from my family, I just don't want to give my children that legacy of what came from some of our family. I don't want them to feel guilty about their heritage. I just want them to understand, yes, we're related. Yes, this is a thing, but we can move on from there to be our own thing as well, you know? I just don't want guilt bringing them down that much. Royal families are well known for taking out the competition. Yeah, yeah. And depending on which royal family you're in, yeah, that could definitely be a thing. Because especially in areas that still recognize and follow monarchies, that it can be there can definitely be some disputes there. Family's more than a name. It's more than a name, but at the same time, even if it is more than a name, having a name to be proud of or to take excitement with is better than one that only carries negative connotations in your mind. I just don't like how some of my family turned out and have been. And of course, because they are my family, I still love them. But if you're a dumbass, you're a dumbass, and people associated with you are always going to be associated with you. And I just don't want my children to necessarily be associated with everything that my family's been associated with. I'm from William the Conqueror. Ooh, nice. But yeah. Again, I can't get into too many details, but with my family, after I converted to the religion I'm currently in, most of my family just straight up abandoned us and have not talked or recognized my existence since. And that's fine. They're welcome to do that. I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it, but I don't want to carry their name and legacy if they don't even want anything to do with me, you know? It's just a whole thing of I'm not against the fact that I'm related to you, but I don't want to proudly associate with you. Monarchy, democracy, patriarchy, matriarchy. It's all too complex. I vote malarkey. Understandable. Which is one of the biggest and everyone has the most death within. Ah, because of nepotism? Okay. Way to explain, only if you're comfortable. Oh, yeah, no, I'll explain a little bit, yeah. It's just, in my family, my great grandfather was a Methodist minister. He traveled the world, wrote many books, and was widely recognized for his dedication to the church, to the Methodist religion, and his contributions and efforts. My family, for that reason, very traditionally were a part of that. And when my mother discovered a different religion she liked and converted to it, and eventually when I found out I liked it too, I converted to it, they just kind of recognizing that I lived. And every time I tried to go visit them because later on, I was an adult. I lived in the area. I'm like, hey, I was wondering, like, can I help you guys around here? Like, if my family's building a house, if they were doing something, it's like, hey, I'd just like to be around. I'd like to still be a part. Because at first, when I was a teenager, when I converted, I didn't know if it was because they didn't like me or didn't like my mother. Turns out it was both of us. And so because of that, I love my family. They were good to me growing up until I converted to a different religion. And so I don't want to take away from the fact that they are my family. But because we converted to a different religion, that was just seen as a traitor, like betraying my great grandfather's efforts, his ministry, and who he is. And because he was the greatest of the family, that just we just became outcasts. And so I haven't really been recognized by that family since then. I've tried my best to, hey, yes, I've changed religions, but I'm still the same guy. And we were in the same family for most of my life. Does that really change anything? The answer is yes, it changed everything for them. So I'm no longer tolerable and I'm no longer invited or allowed to most of those family gatherings, which was hard because that was the only family I really knew. Yeah, no, no worries, man. But yeah, that's kind of why I just want to change my name and to like reinvent who my family is. Just because it's not a disrespect for them. It's just if you guys don't want me, you don't have to have me. But that doesn't mean I have to stay with you. So I just want to give something for my kids that they enjoy more. I mean, whether it's their loss or my loss, that's I can't really say because I am biased in my view of it. But that's just how things played out. I respect their choice. They don't have to associate with me. But again, because of that, I don't want to continue that family name if they don't want anything to do with me. What's the point? Okay, K2. Sorry, Crab. I'm not going to say no to that. It is what it is. So, I'm not against it. It's just, that's kind of why I've just been playing around with the idea of changing my name and building a family that I can be proud of, just so that way when the time comes and I have children, I can pass something on that's like I'm always excited about. It's like, this is the legacy we're building together. This is your family. We are not leaving each other. We are not alone. You know? I just want to have something that works. When we resist relationships, we lose. I do agree with that. But yeah, that's kind of why, for the most part, I've just been looking at, you know, new name, different thing, just changing my fate. I believe he inspired my mother to give me my first two names. Because my first two names definitely have meaning with my personality. Because my first two names, when translated to Hebrew, so in other words, if you understand Hebrew translations, I'm doxing my first two names. My first two names translate to laughter with God. Not only am I a clown, but my mother was divinely inspired to make sure to tell everybody he laughs in the presence of God. That is a terrifying connotation. So I'm not changing my first or middle name, but I want to change my last name just because I'm not sure it would be good to continue that one. You will be the change in your family and will break the curse. Maybe. But again, I just don't. I've been weighing the options of, do I change my name entirely or do I keep it? Because the other issue is, a few years ago, my dad named me after one of Brad Pitt's characters. Hey, you know what? Whatever the reason is the reason. My mother just thought she was being clever naming me Laughter with God. And I don't know if she regrets it or not, but I'm not sure she's excited that her son is not a very serious person. But years ago, back when I was praying to God, I was asking him because I was about to go on my mission. I asked for guidance because I struggle to live for myself. I was still kind of at a time where I was hoping to die young. And so I started praying for a bit, and I just came to God and said, Lord, you know I don't live well for myself. If I'm to have children and I am to live, please let me know who they are so I know who I need to improve myself for. So for their sake, I can be better. Because for my sake, I don't know if I can do what is right. And I saw a vision of two children that I will have, and I heard their names echo in my mind. Yeah, that's my first name. How the hell did you spell it right, though? Because the nurse was drunk the night I was born, because you're supposed to spell Isaac Isaac. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, that is my first name. I'm keeping that one. But when I had the vision of my children, I only heard their first and middle names. I never heard their last names. And so that's kind of why I've been on the fence of, do I keep my name to break the legacy and make it better? Or do I change it and give them something that they can look forward to having. And so that's kind of why I've been on the fence about it. Because I like my first and my middle name, but my last name just carries a lot of weight with it. And I'm not sure if that weight is worth keeping necessarily. Yeah. So that's kind of just, again, that's kind of why I'm on the fence about everything. Because on the one hand, I've got no issue staying with that last name, but if it would be better to give my kids something better to build up and work for, then I might like that more. However, hey, no worries, man. I hope you have a good night, though, and I will see you whenever I see you next. But take care until then, man. But however, the other thing that you can say is technically, I'm having two daughters, so most likely they are changing their names if they get married, if they do get married. So it could also just be that as far as my last name goes, it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. It's something I've been playing around with for the past few years. Thank you, Crab. There's just a lot of things that I'm just trying to weigh my options on, and I'm trying to be careful as I go about it. I don't want to take things too lightly, but I also don't want to be, but I struggle to be necessarily super serious about things too, you know? I mean, you guys could probably tell with just my personality and who I am, I'm not a very serious person. Not very often, at least. So because of that, just been something that's always been on my mind that I'm trying to figure out. You know, I was a lot more excited to try out a dusty green, but I'm not sure I like this as much. Because where's that other guy? Because I feel like, oh, hook that. This green, I think, just works better for the scales, but I'm not sure. Because I wanted to do green, and then I wanted to do like a gray coat over it. Just to shade it and make them look like a dusty green. But that's going to take some deliberation, so I'm just going to set them off to the side. Yeah, thank you, Grub. I don't know. Families are weird. They're difficult. They're never easy, and they're quite messy. But they are worth it. And so that's why that's why the topic of family has always been weird in my mind. Because I want to make sure I'm doing what's right, but I also want to make sure that I'm not doing anything too rash or hasty with it, you know? Okay, I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna start with getting the brass done on this guy. Where's my thin brush? I am still surprised you've seen something from God. Honestly, that's something that's always been a part of me since I was a kid, is I've always seen glimpses of my future. And I think that was I think ahead of time God knew how suicidal I was going to be, because I wanted to die for years. I've barely gotten over the fact that I'm supposed to live. Like, I'm 25 and I was hoping to die at like 18, 17, 21 at the latest. I have not, evidently. And so because of that, ever since I was young, I've always seen visions of my future. And every time I did, it was always of a time when I'd be super depressed. And so I would know ahead of time, like whenever I would recognize that in my vision, I'd be like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to be here. Yes, it sucks, but in a way, I was already mentally prepared for this. Family is one word with two different meanings. On one hand, it can be those you were born to, but the other, it can be those that you choose. Best family is a mix of both. I agree, Crab. I agree. But yeah, so because of that, I've always had visions of the future. And so I've always been, in a way, ready and prepared for what came my way. But it was also a moment of comfort of, even in my darkest moments, I knew they were coming. And I could take joy knowing that I knew this was here. I know things are coming afterward. I don't need to worry about this. And so that's always just been something that I've dealt with and that I've been blessed with, is just having those visions, because they've helped me immensely. Probably more than I'll ever be able to express or recognize, if I'm being perfectly honest. Always been something in my life that I've seen. And so I figured if I can see visions of when I'm in my lowest moments, maybe I can see a vision of something that gives me hope in a different way. And it happened. I was allowed it once. Now, of course, I don't see visions every night often, but I see it from time to time. And it's been interesting. I'm happy that you didn't die. Thank you, James. I can say I'm at a stage now where I can say I am glad to be alive. A part of me still wishes that I hadn't made it this far. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. But there's also that part of me that I am enjoying life. For all of my faults, for all the ups and downs and everything difficult in life and the things I struggle with, I am glad to have this time. I can genuinely say that now, because for most of my life, I couldn't say that. So, I am glad that I'm at a part where I do enjoy life. I just wish it didn't take me this long to get in this spot, you know? But hey, balance and everything. I'm gonna be honest. If you want to live, man, even if I don't always actually don't you sexy, you help me even just by listening. Brighten my life, please keep living, not for me, but for yourself. You deserve real life. Oh gosh dang it, Crab. You can't make me this emotional on stream. You're cornering me. uh, but real talk, thank you, man. I am glad to hear that I was able to help from time to time. It's, like I said, I've come to terms with the fact that I am supposed to live, that I'm supposed to do things. But again, living isn't easy to do. But it's necessary because there is a part to play in everyone's life that we have. I just diminish mine because I've never really felt that I did much before. However, hilariously enough, I keep getting or finding myself in jobs where I do have to directly help people in one way or another. So, I don't know. There's always something up, and there's always something that's happening. But, like I said, I am content with life. I'm content, I'm moving forward, and I'm just trying to do my best. But life is life. Things do get complicated and crazy, and I don't always understand them. Back to the regularly scheduled poop jokes. Yep, no, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I think part of the reason why I like to stream late at night is because I can be honest about this stuff. Just because I just don't have as many guards and walls up when it's this late at night. So, sorry if I'm rambling too much or if things got too real while we're just trying to paint fictional creatures. Thank you guys for listening to my rambling for a little bit. I know it got pretty real and a little odd. I will phrase it as odd. You guys can phrase it however you want, but I will say odd. Just because I know I got a little sappy there. But yeah. No. So just recently, so earlier today, I messaged one of my friends because I have a friend who streams. She used to stream really frequently because she has a better work schedule than me. But I sent her a text because she's been busy at work recently. I just went, "Hey, are you streaming tonight?" Just because I figured if she's streaming, I'll make streams around her stream because I wanted to do 2 streams today, but I would do one large stream, but my phone can't handle like more than 3 hours. She said she wasn't streaming tonight just because she's got mandatory 10-hour shifts at work. So that's always fun. But I ended up checking my Twitch. Stream how you want. At least I'm watching because of you. Oh gosh dang it, you guys are reassuring me too much. But I was going through my Twitch because I didn't know if she was actually streaming or not until later because she didn't answer me too quickly. And I noticed there was, even if the paint looks appetizing, yeah, trust me. There's a reason why I had to clean my wet palette because it was starting to look a little too tasty over there. Also, I may or may not have gotten more candles. I was out shopping today because I had to prep and buy like food ahead of time, just so that way I don't have to worry about buying food or running out of money. And I found a new candle that I really enjoyed, and I was smelling on my last stream. It was a spider venom. Because apparently we are close enough to Halloween, we get all the good spooky stuff now, and I am excited about that. But I was going through my old Twitch because originally I thought I might, like, I at least set up my Twitch account so that way I don't want to stream on Twitch. But if I go visit people, I can just say, "Hey, yeah, it's me. This is my account. My name is here." And I got reminded of an old content creator I used to watch years and years ago. She was Capriri. She was a Capricorn VTuber back in like 2022. I would watch her streams from time to time because she was a really interesting person. But if I remember correctly, she was living in South Korea, but she spoke really good English. So I think she might have moved there and just from an English speaking country. But I thought her streams were cool. At the time, I was working my insurance job, so I'd wake up super early in the morning and I'd be able to catch her streams. And I just remember thinking she was really cool. She was fun to talk to. She was fun to engage with. But she just kind of stopped streaming and posting one day, and she hasn't posted ever since. Of course, it's parasocial of me to be the viewer hoping the streamer's okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware of that. But, you know, I do genuinely hope that she's okay. She's just kind of been radio silent for 3 years. But I was always hoping she might come back because she was a really good artist. She made her own model and was making a new outfit for her model on stream. I remember this because as a joke, because somebody was saying, "Hey, what if we put socks on the horns?" And she goes, "Pay me money and I'll do it." And so as a joke, I just said, "Okay." And I donated like $5 to her chat and said, "Put some socks on the horns." And she did it. It was really fun. But I don't know. I just haven't seen or heard anything from or about her. So, I hope she's doing all right, but I haven't seen anything. Get a big head, boost your own ego, overdose on self-confidence. Oh, that ain't something I can do. I work at an assisted living facility, and there is an old lady who moved in recently. She is the sweetest thing on the planet. I cannot handle being around her too long, not because she's bad, but because she's too nice to me. I don't deal with people being genuinely nice all that well. Like, be an asshole, make some jokes, be sarcastic. That's kind of what I grew up on and I'm used to. So having somebody be like genuinely nice as she is, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't. My brain shuts down when I'm around her. I don't know how, I don't know why, but she's such a nice person. And it just fries my brain because I'm like, I'm not used to this. Honestly, if anyone's concerned for me or just wants to talk, I hope they reach out. I love messages. I mean, true. I don't know. Relationships are messy, man. I'm not very good with them, which is ironic because I almost got married last year. So you'd think I'd be decent at them. But I don't know. For the past few years, I've just been trying to figure out how to maintain decent relationships and just being consistent in that. Because I've never been the most consistent person, except for being a clown. That I've always been consistent in. But, you know, trying to get better with that. I'm also trying to be a more consistent content creator because I've been working on my Call of the Night video because I desperately need to finish a video and post it on the channel. Because, man, I have not done that in a while. I was a video essayist YouTuber, and I haven't posted a video essay since, I think it's been almost a year now. Wait, you almost got married? You didn't say no comment. I didn't realize I hadn't ever mentioned that on stream before. Yeah, no, last year I almost got married. I was very close. I had been dating somebody. We had talked about it. Things had been going well. And I know some people in life, jewelers. And so I tried finding out, hey, what can I do to buy some things wholesale, like a price the jewelers do, and then just make a custom ring for her. And so I had been, basically, this person, do I even have a pencil and paper nearby? Hold on, I'm gonna grab a pencil and paper so I can draw this out so I can show you guys and give a visual aid, because that would be better than just spouting on. Just depends on where I have pencil and paper around here. You would think I just bought a pad and paper. Where did I put them? Where did they go? I even drew a design for that Skaven. Huh. I really cannot find it right now. Okay, well, that is simultaneously hilarious and embarrassing that I can't find. Wait. Wait, here we go. Now we're in business. Okay. Oh, thank goodness, I'm never leave my work stuff too far away. Okay. Basically, I don't have the original design anymore because said design is part of a notebook, and I've got no idea what the book is. I can't even find the blank one I just bought like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Basically, just to draw the design real fast, the design was going to be a simple shape for the actual circle, but on the top I wanted to do a segment Is it bad I want to eat gemstones from rings? No. They're colorful and they look tasty. Basically, I was going to buy a couple of emeralds. And then on the top of the ring, what I wanted to do is I wanted to crimp down the sides of the brackets. So I'd have like a triangle here, triangle here, triangle here. But I do 3 small emeralds to make it look like a leaf, basically. Just that shape. But then I would use but I'd just do it in a few small emeralds that I'd crimp down on the sides to make it into a leaf shape. Because she liked elves a lot. Like, her favorite fantasy race was elf. When we played D&D together, she was always an elf. Her favorite character that she ever made was a pirate elf. She even dressed like said pirate elf to go to Ren fairs. So she was very much there. And so I just wanted to do a simple ring, but then I wanted to put a leaf design on the top as the engagement ring. So that way it's, hey, you like elves. I made a ring that an elf you would use to propose to an elf. And so I had almost, I think I was just one paycheck away from buying the emeralds. And then I was going to go out to find a white gold composite, just so that way I can make a white gold, just so that way it bounces out a little bit from there. But yeah, that was the idea for the engagement ring I almost made to the person I almost got married to. I didn't realize I never mentioned that on stream before. I would think I've not hit it that well. Thank you. That was just on the fly. I had a much better and more detailed one when I first made it, but again, I have no idea where that sketchbook lies. So I don't know where the original design for that ring is, but I know I have it somewhere. I remember when somebody asked me, they just said, well, why didn't you just make the ring and reuse it for the next person? I just told them, well, that ring was designed with that woman in mind based on our shared interests and hobbies. And I'd feel bad making it and then repurposing it for someone else. If that person, if I ever get married or have the opportunity to propose again, if that person has a different personality, I want to use a different ring design for him. If you find it, you should shoot me a pic of it. Yeah, if I find it, I'll send you a pic. But yeah, that was what I had been working on. I had secretly been working on it last year. And I hope she doesn't watch me stream because she knows I streamed. Well, I didn't stream last year, but I did make videos. Hell, I think I referenced her as my girlfriend in my Little Mermaid video because we were still dating back when I made that. You didn't actually say why. Did it? Have you more? Oh, yeah. So it was kind of weird. Basically, the whole reason we broke up wasn't necessarily because anything bad happened. It was more of, so we're both religious, and we both started praying about, hey, is marriage the right thing for us? Would that be like the smart thing to do? Would that be the wise thing to do? Should we move forward and do it? And I never gave her the full answer I got to my prayer. But the full answer I got was, if you marry her, your life will be fine. But there is somebody better prepared to handle her needs than you will ever be. And so that, for me, placed me in a delicate spot because it was under the impression of, yeah, I love her. I want to get married to her. Like, I was in the middle of designing and about to make the ring. But just hearing that part of, you will have an okay life, but I would never be the perfect fit. I would be second best, and I just wouldn't do enough because whoever came after me would be better. I just couldn't. I was going to feel too guilty about letting that happen, about taking her away from something that I knew she would enjoy better. And so I just told her the first part of the answer I got, which was, well, I told her one part of the answer, and the answer was, somebody better will be better prepared for her and will be coming her way. And she said, so when I said that, she said she got a similar answer when she prayed, and so we broke it off. So it wasn't that we fell out of love. It wasn't that there was cheating or anything scandalous involved. it was just the impression of, you know, could happen, but it's not the best case scenario. And so I just I just made the decision of, you know what? I love her too much to let her deal with second best. I always say I don't want second best, I want the best for her. And apparently the best for her was me letting go, which was extremely difficult. And I'll be perfectly honest, it's been over a year since we broke up, and yet, there's always parts of me that wonder, what if I stayed with her? What if we didn't break up? What if I actually committed? However, those are always going to be what if scenarios, because things happen in life. And from a mutual friend, because she unfriended and blocked me just about everywhere after we broke up. So I've got no way of knowing this organically. But my friend, who was also her friend, she told me that, yeah, she is engaged right now and she is about to get married later this year. So she found the happiness that we knew she was going to find. And I'm really excited for her. So I know I made the right decision, but that doesn't mean the right decision feels easy or necessarily feels good. I understand, but it's sad. I understand. Real men don't cry, we bald. uh, yeah, no. There's a specific night I remember when we broke up that oh gosh. I have never cried like that before in my life. I am so glad that nobody was around for that too, because gosh dang, that was a level of pain I never knew I could feel. Because I've felt physical pain. I've dislocated my elbow. I've been stabbed. But there's something to emotional pain I never had to deal with before until that night, and gosh dang. Ever since then, I've really not wanted to open up about emotions because I do not want to feel that again. But yeah. So, I don't know. I am happy for her. I'm glad everything's working out as she needed it to. And that's where I leave it at. Mostly just because, I'll be honest, I would like to think I'm over her because I've tried going on dates and I've tried talking and meeting with new people. Granted, very unsuccessfully the past year. But I've tried moving on. But I'm not entirely sure. She was technically my first girlfriend I've ever had. So how that whole process goes down and how it works, I'm no expert in that. Wisdom comes at a cost not to those around us, but to ourselves. For the wisest choice is the hardest upon the one that makes them. Yeah, I can agree with that. But yeah. Life is weird, man. It's part of the reason why, because dating here in the US, I am not the biggest fan of it. Mostly just because, I don't know. Yes, people are complicated everywhere in the world. You don't have to tell me that. I've already lived in 2 countries for it. But there's something about the community and how things were in Mexico that I definitely miss when it comes to dating and just relationships. Here in the US, everything just feels detached, is how I would best describe it. Relationships, community, dating, it all just feels detached here in the US. And I don't want to blame one group or another for it because that's not smart and it's not fair. because blanket statements cause blanket simplifications, and sometimes people don't want a blanket, they want some ice. But I don't know. Everything in the US just feels detached right now. There's not much of a sense of community. So dating here has just been ugh. All I'll say is you seem like a catch. Hope it works out for you in the end. Well, thank you, man. To an extent, it feels weird to say that I know it will work out in the end for me because from that vision of my daughters, I know I'm having two girls. One of them is going to be biologically mine, and then the second one I'm adopting. So I know their names, I know their faces, I know how I'm going to meet them. So I know that I have hope that in the end it'll work out. But I am not very good at patience. I will be very quick to always admit this. Not necessarily because I don't think patience is good, but because I'm just somebody who always wants to be in motion, working, doing something. Sitting around doing nothing, it's nice every once in a while, but I can't do it consistently. So, it is what it is for now. I definitely don't enjoy being single, but at the same time, I wouldn't be making this kind of content at the frequency I do if I wasn't single. So, it's kind of a give and take here. Because I'd still be making YouTube videos if I wasn't single. But if I had a girlfriend, I would not be spending the absurd amount of money that I've spent on minis and paint. Like, all of this hoard back here and everything else that I painted for other people and that I painted myself, that would definitely not have happened at the time it's happened in if I if I was dating right now. Just because dating somebody requires a little bit of money on my part. Because every time I've dated somebody, I've been the one with a car. And so I got to go out, got to drive over, pick them up, take them somewhere, go to dinner, or go to an activity of some kind that we both enjoy. You know, it's always been like that for me. I don't know how other people are, so I can't say for them. But so because of that, where I am right now, I do not make enough money to do this and date all that frequently. I am trying to date. However, I've been a little laxed about it because times I've tried asking somebody on a date, I either got a silent rejection of yes and then getting ghosted, or the most recent attempt, I was told, "Oh, you were serious? I'm sorry, I was only kidding." So I don't want to give up on love, but I'm not exactly too hopeful right now with how things have been going for me. So, the hoard, yeah. Well, that's because the hoard isn't even fully displayed back here. I still got minis up top, and I've got minis at my friend's house because I painted minis for one of my friends. And then I also store some of my minis at my friend's house. I found out that my wife knew me since elementary. She kissed me under the slide and told the teacher, getting me in trouble. That's adorable. That is adorable. Oh gosh, that has me thinking about somebody I once knew. Ah, I was pissed they called my dad. Yeah, I can understandably so. You got in trouble for it. Ah, crap. Now I got a song stuck in my head. Years ago, there was a girl that I knew in middle school that I really liked. She was always dating somebody, so I never actually told her. But I knew I was going to move because remarried and we were moving up north. He teased me for it, well, like a loving father. Yeah, of course, as one should. But I remember I flubbed so hard because I think she was single, but I didn't want to tell her my feelings for her before I moved. I just let her know, hey, yeah, no, today's my last day here. I'm moving soon. So it was cool being friends. I hope to see you again. Yada, yada, yada. You know, that kind of stuff. And I remember because I was going to tell her how I felt until she screamed no and jumped at me and hugged me for a bit. I didn't know how to feel, but I knew, at least at the time, I felt like I should definitely not tell her how I feel. Just because, I don't know, something about me hesitated. I never told her. I remember when I moved back to the area and got in touch with some people, I asked if she was around or how she'd been, because I was trying to reconnect with all my friends from back in the day. No one ever gave me a straight answer. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. I hope she's doing okay. But I don't know. Nobody that I was mutually friends with were friends with me and friends with her. Whenever I asked about her, nobody gave me a straight answer. They never said anything, so I have no idea. So, I don't know. The only reason I still think about her to this day is because there's a song that I got introduced recently, and for some reason she pops into my mind whenever I hear that song, and I don't like it. The song a lot, but I do not want to think about that, just because that was kind of one of my biggest. I would say that's like my only failure in life, because I don't like to say that I have failures in life. I have like learning experiences, is how I always frame it. But I did fail to tell her how I felt. I wasn't honest with her, and I always feel bad about that. I mean, I hope not. We were good friends. We'd been friends for a while. It's just she was always dating, and I never worked up the courage to really say anything about it. But because I thought I saw her on a dating app one time, but I never, because this was a dating app where you could message somebody like beforehand. So I sent a message asking if she was who I thought she was. I never heard back. So I've got no idea. I'd like to think that one day I might see her again, but never know. This world is complicated and weird. And I definitely don't have the answers for this stuff. Maybe, but I don't know if she'd even recognize me. I haven't seen her in well over a decade at this point. And I don't even know if she'd recognize my voice, because I don't show my face on stream. At least for now, I don't. Mostly just because I stream off a phone. I can't show. I hope you see her again. Thanks, James. I hope so too. But I don't know. We'll see how things go in the future. For now, it just is what it is. Nothing against it, nothing for it. It is what it is. Okay. It sure is weird. I found out that my wife had a problem with chewing on desks, and now he's got those desks. The world has a weird way of reintroducing people. Okay, now I'm turning into that Hawkeye meme, Crab. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. It would be nice to see her again. But you never know. I seem to disappear, and then people seem to just move on with life. So I hope I'll see her again, but never know. I'm not going to bank on it, but I won't discount it either, because it would be cool to see her again, and so I could actually tell her how well, it might be weird to tell her how I felt. I'll probably just say it if I see her again, so. If I see her again, if we get to talking, I'll probably mention how I felt back then. However, that was back then. We'll be adults at this point, so if I see her again, I'm definitely just going to be like, yeah, no, that was how I was back then. But I don't know who you are right now, because I've changed a lot since then. Hopefully, she's changed too, because she's an adult now. So who knows? It'd be nice to see her again. And it'd be nice just to have a conversation and see where it goes. But I will not bank on it. Man, even I miss you sometimes when we don't talk for a while. Oh, well, thank you, man. But, I don't know. The world is the way it is. I try not to think too much on things just because too much happens. My wife stalked me. She says that I was boring. You know what? Personally, I've always said there's nothing wrong with boring at times. Like, for one example, with the job I work at an assisted living facility right now. And so a lot of time, I have a coworker who always complained that the shift is going too slow. But I just always say, while working here, I enjoy it. Oh, hey, Fainting, how's it going? But I'll say, when I'm at my normal job, thank you, Paint. And yeah, I didn't realize we were going to go here, James, but apparently I decided to be very real tonight, so it's definitely been a thing. But I don't know. As far as things have been, I just move on. Gosh dang, I had something I was going to say. Now I don't even remember. Oh no, the best stories about people are the true ones. I fully. At this point, you might as well consider me the Giorno Giovanna meme of, that's bullshit. I believe it. Just because with how much I've worked in customer service jobs, the truest story, wildest ones. Oh, right, work. So while I'm at my job, one of my coworkers will always say that she wants the shift to go faster, but faster at my job sometimes means that there is a serious health complication and we have to send somebody out to the hospital. So I just tell her, I understand you want to go home as quick as you can. I'd rather the shift go by slowly because that means nothing is happening. And if nothing is happening, nobody's health is in danger. Nobody's going to the hospital. Sending somebody out. I'd much rather that. I know that's all personal taste and all that and whatnot, but that's just kind of what I told her because I'm like, I just would rather the shift go slowly because if it's slow and we have nothing to do, that means we did all our stuff and everybody's in good enough health that we don't have to worry about them. So that's how I look at my job. But she always complains and says, can we go home yet? Make the time go faster. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I burnt my leg hairs off in a really dumb way one night. I emptied a bunch of lighter fluid in a Sprite bottle, lit a spark in, and singed my leg hairs off. It was baby smooth. I can see that. I've never burnt myself that badly before. I've singed some of my eyebrows. Though I will say, if we want to talk about dumb stuff, the dumbest scar that I have, I need to pull the camera back a little bit for this. The dumbest scar I have is right here on my arm. You can't see it too well now just because of my hair, but right there in that spot, right here, years ago, I went to a family function, and the easiest way to get the kids to have their jitters out and keep them entertained is play fighting with them. We're a very active family. So I took a tree branch that was like 12 feet long and started swinging it side to side in front of all the kids, going, "Oh, hey, grab your sticks, let's fight." Well, a 4-year-old cousin of mine walked up and threw a stick at me. Not only did it stick into my arm, it scarred. It is the worst scar I have, not because it was painful. She literally threw the stick on my arm. It got stuck. I looked at it and went, "Well, that's annoying," and pulled it out. But it scarred. Like, man, because some people have asked me about scar. I'm just like, a 4-year-old threw a stick at my arm and it got stuck in there. Hey, man, I've lived in a family and in a farming community for most of my life. The dumb shit people do on a near daily basis in the areas I've lived in, it all just makes too much sense. Stick got stuck. Yep. Stick got stuck, and a 4-year-old girl literally put a scar on my arm. Literally, if it was any other scar or any other like reason, I would be okay. But my 4-year-old cousin got lucky with a sharp stick that wasn't even sharpened. She just picked it up off the ground and threw it at me. That somehow stabbed my arm and scarred over. Like, man, I want something cool. Like, at the base of my middle finger here, you can kind of see this white line that just traces right up. That was from cutting duct tape, because I was in the middle of cutting something because I used to do a lot of duct tape crafts back in middle school. Hell, I even made up a fake superhero called Duct Tape Man, which that was a long costume to make. But I did a costume like that. But I was in the middle of cutting duct tape. I was hanging out with my cousins. My cousin was saying something. So I looked over just to tell her to shut up. And as I did so, I turned away, told her to shut up, and the knife bounced right into my finger. I looked down, I saw white, and then it flooded with red. So I cut myself down to the bone there, all to tell my cousin to shut up. And when I went to school, I had to keep this finger up, which meant I had to keep my other fingers up because this is my middle finger. So I kind of went, damn it. Because as funny as it is to walk around with only your middle finger taped up with ice at school is, the teachers aren't very happy, so I had to keep the rest of my fingers up and keep my hand like this or this at all times. I accidentally ate dog poop. How on? I'm very curious about that story, Crab. A boy, I understand. A boy's a boy, but a girl? Yeah, no. You see my point, James. I swear. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I've got that scar. And she was not even that strong for her age. I just think I had apparently a particularly nasty stick that got thrown at me, I guess. But still, to this day, that's just always been something I'm like, man, I wish I had a better story or at least a cooler story for it. Because the current story, like, there really isn't anything about it. It's just, yeah, a 4-year-old girl threw a stick at me, and it scabbed over and scarred. I didn't think much at the time, but It found purchase, and I've had it ever since. I was on the couch eating Cocoa Puffs, dropped one, and I thought I grabbed it. Oh, sadly, that does make sense. I can see how that mistake was made, Crab. Oh, no. Oh, no. I did grab it. I grabbed some small dry doggy doo-doo. Yeah. Oh, no. Well, you know what they say, boner apple queef. Never had Cocoa Puffs since. I don't blame you. I don't think I could have this courage to eat Cocoa Puffs after that. I don't even know if I'd try eating them now after reading that story. I I don't even own dogs, but I'd be paranoid. Now, if I still owned rabbits, I would be mortified. Because rabbits do shit in pellets that look like Cocoa Puffs. So I know if I have a rabbit, I am never getting Cocoa Puffs. That is solidified in my mind now. Not because of it, just because I haven't picked them up. I actually want some now. Not fair enough. You know what? I kind of want to have Apple Jacks again, but they gentrified the Apple Jacks. They got rid of cinnamon. The Cocoa Puffs, not the other thing. I figured, crap. And I also hoped that you meant the Cocoa Puffs. But yeah, no, growing up, Apple Jacks were my favorite cereal, and they gentrified the Apple Jacks because cinnamon isn't cinnamon anymore. He looks like Clippy's basement from 1993. And I can't justify going for the Apple Jacks anymore. They took that adversity from the Apple Jacks. No, for real though. Cinnamon was like a whole Jamaican dude, and he was always winning. Apple was a salty little dude, and he almost always lost until the Together campaign that came out later on. But yeah, Cinnamon just looks like he came from Clippy's graduation party. Like, there's no mon in Cinnamon. It's just cinnamon. We have the little cinnamon here. He's a cute, wholesome boy who probably can't run for shit. It's like taking the Jamaican out of Grimm. Oh, absolutely. Gosh, could you imagine if they did that? Grimm having that accent absolutely sold the character better than it should have. Granted, I think Jamaican accents in English just have a stranglehold on us because they're fun, they're creative, but they're also exotic enough that we always kind of get down with it. Like, because I will fully admit, I think the Jamaican accent just has a stranglehold in the English language as kind of like one of those standout ones that you can never forget. It's kind of like how I would see the Argentinian accent in Spanish. They had one episode where they revealed him to be a white Jamaican because they didn't want the kids to own a black guy. I mean, fair. But hey, if you were born white and just raised in a Jamaican community, yeah, you talk like them too. Like, that's just how it would go. Which is one of the reasons I didn't like the live action Little Mermaid, because in the live action Little Mermaid, Prince Eric was raised in a Jamaican area. He does not, well, and he was raised in the Caribbean islands. Dude does not sound like he's from the Caribbean islands. He sounds like he's British the entire time. It's like, it sounds like you just picked up a schoolboy from Britain, but according to the movie, he was a baby or a toddler and he was saved from a shipwreck by his mother, the queen. He didn't have an accent similar to the island. He just sounded like, "Hey guys." I don't know. To me, that was always that was like one of the standout moments. Come on, but uh, just a lot to think about. As Disney, the most they actually played into regional accents was Brave, and I hear no one talking about how good Brave is. Brave was good. As long as you don't mind a girl talking about changing her fate every 5 seconds. But no, real talk, Brave was a fun movie. They really just never cared about Meredith after Brave. But I think it's probably just because Brave didn't do so well. Like everybody I know who remembers that Brave talks about how Brave was a good movie, but you don't find a lot of people working on it either. Which, yeah, see, everybody who remembers Brave likes Brave. But it's like Disney tried to memory hole Brave, which is weird. Because why is that the one you want to memory hole out of all of them? Like, you have Donald Duck screaming Heil Hitler in your older cartoons. Why are we so worried about hiding the fact that Brave exists, and why aren't we using it more often? Because Brave was a fun movie. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it was good. It had a fun cast of characters, had some fun gimmicks, and it had some fun gags. It was a good family movie. But I don't know. Meredith was a competent princess, and they didn't like that. Which is ironic, because you would think they would, like, in the age of live action Disney remakes, you would think with how they were doing the other Disney princesses, they would try to make Meredith like the face of everything. Because, like, live action Mulan was dumb because they reduced Mulan to just being magical rather than actually putting an effort to earn things. That that sucked. Why not throw Meredith in there? She's a strong-willed woman in her own movie and was competent, but believably competent. There was nothing magical about her. She just did what felt right for her character. That movie is the reason why I love red hair females now. Understandable. Understandable. She had a loving mother and father. She fought for her family. Yeah. She also fought to change her fate. Because she thought she had a bad fate. She didn't like what the arranged marriage, and she didn't want to work up for it. She wanted there to be something better for her. Like I haven't seen Brave in a while just because I don't watch Disney movies that often. But I kind of want to rewatch it just so I can see how it is. Similar to with Princess and the Frog. I really want to rewatch Princess and the Frog because I saw it like once when it came out back in like 2010, 2011. I remember watching it once and I haven't seen it since. But I really do want to watch that. Especially because Tiana was a fun character. I remember liking The Princess and the Frog. But I don't remember too much more outside of that. Okay. Yeah, these are all going to be leather wraps. I'm going to have to Throw something else on the feet. Just do green for now. Do not get me started on Princess and the Frog. No, now that you say it, I kind of want to. But like I said, I haven't seen Princess and the Frog in a while. It's on my rewatch list. I also need to rewatch the Bionicle movies. Even the fourth one, I don't do, but even the fourth one, because there's only 4 Bionicle movies and I should enjoy what we have. Like the first 3 I really liked. We didn't get the cool arcs with Jaller and Matoru and the Toa Ignika in general, much less the Mada, or the Mari, sorry, it was the Mari. We didn't get the Toa Mari. And then I don't remember what the generation was. The Fantoka. We didn't get anything besides the comic for the Fantoka. But we skipped all those good arcs and we went to Barra Magna. And gosh dang, I did not like that. Milan, Meredith, and Tiana are the big 3 princesses. Changed my mind. I mean, I don't really want to change your mind. Personally, I've always viewed that the Disney princesses, the top ones are the ones that resonated most with you. And I think that was always like the strength of like the diversity of the stories in the different movies. Because my favorite Disney movie was always Lilo and Stitch. Mostly because I was raised by a single mother. And so I grew up in a bit of a broken family. And so the message of, yeah, we might be a broken family, but we still remain together because family is family, you stick together. That story resonated with me a lot when I was a kid. And so I always wanted to be a part of that. That's what I always wanted. And so that was always my number 1 Disney movie of all time. But outside of that, when it comes to Disney princesses, I'm kind of biased because I think The Little Mermaid movie is really good for the wrong reasons. Because my favorite character is Ursula. Ursula is amazing. But that doesn't mean that Ariel is necessarily a good princess. Though I do like her character arc in the original. And I also like the original Little Mermaid story because I have read it. The golden age of Disney has unfortunately passed. They are now onto the nostalgia age. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much going on with Disney that I just look at and go, I hesitate because they had some good stuff, don't get me wrong. But I'm also kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, nostalgia baiting so much now that it's not anything good. Hey, remember this movie you like? Live action age. Yeah, no, yeah. It's why I really haven't been paying attention to Disney as a company. Like, granted, when it comes to movies recently, I've just kind of been burned out. Like, growing up, one thing is for me, when it comes to superhero movies, I always liked DC growing up, and I watched the DC animated stuff. Live action DC has never been good, necessarily. Like, the Batman, like, Dark Knight series from Christopher Nolan, that was pretty good. I'm not gonna rag on that too much, because every iteration of Batman is slightly different. But there really hasn't been too much good DC stuff as far as movies goes. They had the direct-to-DVD movies that were some of the best, I would say, adaptations for the most part. Like Teen Titans Judas Contract, really good movie. I will suggest that to anybody who wants to look at a DC movie. There's also Teen Titans versus Justice League. That one's pretty good. You should do a video essay on the Golden Age versus Nostalgia Age of Disney. I mean, maybe. I don't know if I'd be all that good just because of how salty I typically am. But I could definitely, it's not out of question. I could definitely do it. Oh, right. I think I mixed this with another color. That's how I got. Right. Well, changing the brand now. If I'm going to do a video on Disney, I think I'm just going to do it on Star Wars again. Because I have a script ready that I just need to record and edit. And it's talking about bleeding kyber crystals. Because that was when the Acolyte came out, that highlighted something that was really bad. But I don't know. Hmm. Acolyte had a cool fight. That's the only props I'll give it. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see enough of the fights to really, so I can't say anything just yet. I mostly just saw how they handled the bleeding kyber crystal thing. I'm like, Disney, this is your own idea you brought to Star Wars canon that I liked, and I can't even defend it now. Because the whole idea was originally introduced from the Vader comics, where they showed when Darth Vader went to go bleed a kyber crystal, he struggled, the kyber crystal fought back, lightning literally shooting out of it and injuring his suit, and it showed him visions of the light side of, hey, there's still good in you. There was this whole dramatic thing of, hey, it's difficult to bleed a kyber crystal, which made it so every time that in media after Disney took over, if a Sith pulled out multiple red lightsabers, that meant he bled multiple crystals, and that was really hard to do, which made them all the more intimidating. And the Acolyte, they changed it to a mood ring for a cheap effect. And I really didn't like how they handled that. Because again, like of all the changes Disney made that I will say I did not like, the idea of bleeding a kyber crystal very much felt like a Sith thing to do that I gave it a pass. But they couldn't even keep it decent enough. The Sith smacked a lightsaber with Cortosis or whatever the lightsaber resistant metal is gauntlet, then headbutted another with a helmet made of the same metal, shortening the blade out. That Sith looks scary to fight. Yeah, I saw some clips of that, about that. And I was on the fence because I'm glad they brought Cortosis into it, like into Star Wars. It's just, I wish it was done with a series that actually carried something with it. But even from EU, Cortosis wasn't used that often. But I don't know. There are a lot of cool things from back in the day, and just a lot of. I just find that having the kyber crystal bleeding be as easy as it looks now, it's just not as impactful as it used to be. They had a good way to do it, had a good way to show it, and they really just let it go. Too many Sith are made cool to die lame. I agree. But again, with how bleeding a kyber crystal worked, it works, but it also helped with General Grievous's lore because he didn't have the Force, so he couldn't bleed his own crystals, which is why he never got a red lightsaber. Because it would be cool if he had the Force crystals, which would show just how scary he is by collecting trophies and corrupting them and turning them into his. But instead we got, oh, I swing on somebody out of anger and my blade slowly turns red, which was really dumb. Just because, again, Darth Vader struggled and suffered physical pain as the crystal fought back to change colors, it fought back against him, trying to tell him, hey, you know this is wrong, don't do this. Acolyte, oh, it just changes because she lashed out at a dude. It's like, it just kind of, it lessens the impact of what having a red lightsaber means in the Disney canon if it's that easy to change a lightsaber color. Sam Witwer always formed my way of thinking about how the Sith think, which is deserved. Sam Witwer knows Star Wars. He is my favorite modern guy who's working in Star Wars because he knows the lore so much, and that's why I appreciate anything he works on, because I know he adheres to the lore and tries to make it work, because he cares. He truly cares, but he doesn't just care, he understands. And that's what I enjoy a lot about him. Especially when I saw the interview about how he got the job as Starkiller. Really, really cool how that interview went. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you check it out. They even have the pivotal moments of that interview in some short, like YouTube shorts, so you should be able to get an abridged version of how. He said something about the Sith to meditate, they meditate like they are the only ones that can. Like they have to, they try to force the will. Yeah, no, exactly. Because the Jedi would meditate finding peace and balance, as that's what they teach the Force is and how that's how you work with it. You are one with the Force, but the Sith are you bend the Force to your will to do your bidding. So yeah, you're not going to meditate peacefully, you're going to struggle, you're going to find and search for power to bend and break it to your will to move it how you want. It's essentially sitting in a river versus bending a steel bar. And he nailed it perfectly. He knew what was up. And that is why Sam Witwer will forever be one of my favorite Star Wars people, because he doesn't just know the lore, he cares, and he works on it. Now to my Star Wars hot take. Starkiller can be canon, but they are scared. Yeah, they would have to change some of Starkiller's story, but yeah, he could absolutely be canon. I would say what they would have to do is change the story just a tad, but they could easily make it work. Because for the most part, it was fine. It's just in Star Wars Force Unleashed, you kill people who live after the events of Force Unleashed. So cool boss fights, cool moments, definitely not canon. But aside from changing a few things like killing Yoda, Obi-Wan, Shaak Ti for the 50th time, they could easily get him in and make him work. Also maybe tone down some of his Force things, just because sure, it was really cool and looked great in the video game, but you know, they can always shift things around to make it work better. Just depends on if they actually want to do it. Because come on, Darth Nihilus killed entire planets by standing on a spaceship out in space and absorbed the life force from it. You can bring Starkiller in. Again, you have to change some of his story moments from the games, but you can easily make Starkiller canon. It just will take a few writing changes to make it work. Non-canon DLC is obviously not canon, but most feats he struggled on. No, yeah, for sure. And again, depending on the feat, it's possible that people can do it. Especially if you remember the 2003 Gennady Tartarovsky or whatever his name is. But the creator Samurai Jack, he made that mini-series of the Clone Wars before Episode 5 came out. And as much as I like the 2008 new Clone Wars, 2003 Grievous is much better than what we got afterwards. It's not even a competition. He didn't just pull a Star Destroyer down. He wrestled it down. He had to work for it. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. he didn't just easily pull it down. But if you remember in the 2003 Clone Wars series, Yoda had two Federation landing ships that are, yes, smaller, but two of them, he pulled the two of them together to crash into each other midair during the battle on Coruscant. So, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, with enough training and with Starkiller being a Gary Stew in the fun ways, yeah, I'm okay giving him the pulling a Star Destroyer to the ground and wrecking it. I'm willing to give him that feat if we can go back to 2003 Clone Wars power scaling, where again Yoda brought spaceships, landing ships together to crash into each other. There is a precedent. There is a way to make it happen. Except everybody just got kind of nerfed in Star Wars, and so the 2003 Clone Wars doesn't work as well as it used to. I still have the ARC Trooper theme from that series. It's now playing in my head because I thought of it too much. Probably going to watch the General Grievous fight again. I remember a little while ago, I was at a church meeting, and sometimes when you have a new teacher, they'll just say, all right, let's say our names and answer a question as you go around the room to get to know each other. And one person said, who's your favorite Star Wars character? At first, people were giving like genuine answers of their favorite characters, but then some people started pulling out random lore answers. So then I said, oh, my favorite is Jedi Shaggy from the 2003 Clone Wars series. He is like a combined total of 40 seconds on screen time before he gets killed by Grievous. But he has a whole backstory on Wikipedia because the community loved him so much that they turned Shaggy into a Jedi. Starkiller has a good story that can be unobtrusive. The first game ends with his death, then he's cloned, and the second game ends with him taking Vader to jail with Boba Fett following. Yeah. There's definitely ways to work it in that would work. It's just more of, will it be done right, and will it be done well? Vader could possibly escape the ship and continue into the movies. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not impossible for Vader to continue as he is and to do anything else afterwards. It's just more of, that's just how things go sometimes. All right. So I'm going to set these guys to the side for a second, because now I've got a question. What color do we make this guy? But they're scared of someone as powerful as Vader, if not stronger. Yeah. Yeah. What color do we make this guy? I failed to make him blue, so I'm willing to try different colors. But before we end stream, I want to know what color we're going to make this guy. Because I've got a decent amount of colors. But I figure you guys probably have some interesting ideas. You like the gray? Fair. I'm not against the gray. I'm just thinking I should make the carapace, like the outside, something different. So that way, like the fleshy underside is different, but so that there's a bit more contrast to them. Gray is good, possibly a complementing purple underside. So we're saying leave the gray on the outside, purple on the inside. He looks like he's made of rock. Well, that is kind of true because that is the name of the gray I used on it is basalt gray. So yeah, no, that makes sense there. Horns and tusks, tannish. Yeah. Hold on, because if we're going with tan, then I got a couple ways I can do a tan. We've got this, then we've got let's see. Yeah, because we can't use the Armageddon stuff. But then if I wanted to, where's my, there it is. If we want to do tan, I've got a couple options here. Scoot these guys back a bit. So I've got a bony matter speed paint. So I can throw over the top, which would make it slightly tan. The underside of my Yuan Ti are my Krieg khaki. It's a slightly green tan that I thought would stand out a bit better from just regular white as their undersides. I've got a Xandri Dust base, and then I can mix Wraithbone with Bugman's Glow or some other brown to make a tan. That's kind of what I got for that. But so far I'm seeing the consensus of keep the gray, some sort of color for the undertone, possibly purple, and then brown or tan, like brown war paint with tan on the tusks and horns. That's what I'm seeing so far. Does that sound about right? Yay, nay, veto, other idea? Because I'm willing to do it. I just wanted to leave it to you guys what I should do, because the last time I painted him, I didn't do well, because I used this because I wanted to make him look like Cocytus from Overlord, and I did not get a good even mix on that speed paint. It came out very stripy, so it didn't work. Okay. I'm hearing yes from James on that plan. Wait. Okay, I'm waiting. Yeah, no, yeah, that was the original idea when I got him, is I wanted to reference Cocytus. It's just, I'll have to show like pictures from earlier, but the problem is when I used the blue speed paint, I did it over, I didn't have Fenrisian gray at the time. What gray did I have? I think I just had a basic Viahill like blue-gray, but it didn't work out too well because this just came out super streaky from the brush that I used, and so it didn't work well. That's kind of why I just repainted him a new base color, so that way that's his base, and I can paint over it to do something different. Hmm. So we're going with a gray. Should I try? I'm trying to think now. Okay, I'm gonna try a little bit of speed paint on the main horn out front. That looks like a sword, just to see how it looks if I apply just a little bit of it. We're gonna do a test run. With Cocytus, I'd say do a white base then blue, since he is an ice warrior. Yeah. Again, the issue back then is when I just used the wrong blue color because it just did not layer well. I have other blues now. I don't know if it's the right blue for him, but I've got Teclis blue, Calidor Sky, and Thousand Suns blue. But first things first, we're gonna get little bit of this bony matter. I'm gonna try. If we're talking best girl from Overlord, I am partial to. Oh, it's been so many years since I saw it. I'm partial to Bug Girl. I liked Bug Girl a lot when I saw her. Yeah, that was my fear. Speed paints don't work on this mini because he's too big. So yeah, the speed paint's out of the question. Antoma, yeah. I liked Antoma. She was fun. I liked her power. I liked how she worked. And she was just fun to watch on screen. I liked Antoma a lot. I hate bugs, but yeah, no. So yeah, this is a bug. Yeah. He's a fairly large one. That's why when I saw the Umber Hulk in D&D, I thought of Cocytus. Because literally, just give this guy weapons and change the paint scheme, and you kind of have Cocytus right there. I also like how Cocytus brought back the lizards. He went, hey, wait. They can serve us. I killed them, but you can resurrect them, and they can work with us. Yeah, I think Cocytus was just a fun character because he balanced out how, yeah, in Overlord, they are the bad guys. But it's kind of fun seeing somebody with honor be like, hey. Yes, we're conquering the world, for the world like assholes. I appreciated him a lot. Overlord broke me. It killed every character it made me care about outside of Nazarick. Yeah, that was the point. And man, does it hurt. I've only seen up to like season 3 though. I really need to like get caught up on Overlord because I have not seen anything from Overlord in a hot minute. And I'm pretty sure I would assume there's a 4th season out already. But and what's worse is I loved every second of it. Oh yeah, no. I love Overlord. But it's not a casual watch anime for me. It's one where I go in going, yeah, this is going to hurt again, but I'm going to enjoy it. Like, I liked all of the adventurers who ran into Nazarick and got absolutely eviscerated by everybody. Like, no, I like you. And that's just rough, because, yeah, you're not beating the main character of the series. Movie 2 and Isekai Quartet and Quartet movie. Yeah, I have not seen anything of Isekai Quartet. I know he's in it. I know Tanya's in it. I really should just watch the Quartet. I just haven't seen Isekai Quartet. I only hear the good things about it. I've just never gotten around to it. Yeah, I need to get caught up on Overlord. I need to watch Isekai Quartet. I got a lot to do there. But I'm also trying to get caught up on Uma Musume as well. Because I'm on season 3 right now. And I still got the movie and I got the web series. I got a lot to do to catch up on that. Konosuba, ReZero, Overlord, Saga, Tanya, Shield Hero. Overlord. Honestly, if you want a good isekai that has decent world building because it's thought out, I would highly recommend Overlord. It is dark fantasy, so you're going to see some messed up shit. There's going to be some messed up things that happen in that do happen in that series that you're going to see. But if you can handle dark fantasy and you want to be rewarded with a story that's actually good, I highly recommend Overlord. It's a good series. It's just, and it doesn't fall off like Shield Hero. Because hot damn, I loved season 1 of Shield Hero. I could not recommend anything past season 1 of Shield Hero. I like Shield Hero, but when they got to, oh yeah, there's other worlds we have to invade and destroy them, or we get destroyed, I'm like, okay. Hold on here. I came here to see the Shield Hero kick everyone's ass in his own world. I don't care about him destroying another world because he doesn't even like this world. I just wanted to see him be an accidental good guy. I also, Konosuba I really like, but I haven't finished season 3. I started watching it when it was airing, and I kind of got sidetracked and forgot about it for a bit. If you need eye bleach, then there's the complete opposite, Skeleton Knight in Another World. Skeleton Knight in Another World is just so fun. I rewatched that recently because that's a very fun anime. I like it a lot. I really hope Skeleton Knight gets a second season because season 1's a good palate cleanser. It's fun. It's lighthearted when it needs to be for the most part. But man, Skeleton Knight was so good. Konosuba was good. I never finished ReZero. I know everybody says ReZero is like the best isekai out there or one of the best. I just couldn't get behind it because I hated Subaru so much. And from season 1, I watched till like episode 17. And the only time I enjoyed watching season 1 of ReZero up till episode 17 was the Manor arc, the mystery murder in the Manor. That one I liked a lot because there was intrigue. I had characters I cared about. There was a good mystery, and I actually started caring for Subaru. After that, I really could not get simping so hard for Amelia, and I hated it so much. Then also, I just can't get behind Subaru as a character. I just really dislike him. I know that's kind of like the point of his character, is to be the way he is. I'm not saying he's poorly written. I'm saying I just can't get behind him well enough to finish the series with him as the main character. Skeleton Knight Overlord crossover. That could be fun. Okay, what is Overlord about? Something about the main character is the villain. So Overlord, to simplify it, is there is a day that a giant MMO is closing. And so a bunch of characters are in, and the main guy, he and his guild were like the number 1 guild. However, to be in the number 1 guild, you had to be an undead character to play in it. They called themselves the Tomb of Nazarick, was like their home base. On the day of like, hey, gonna load in just to experience nostalgia before this game is deleted, the main character stays logged in when the game is deleted and gets transported into his game character in the new world. And so, of course, he goes, oh shit, I'm probably not the only one that was loaded into the new world, so I need to find other people like me. And so he slowly starts taking over the world in attempts to find other people like him. And he kind of starts taking over the world by accident because he floats the idea, and then his more competent ally / former NPC, now real character Demiurge, kind of takes the ball from him and starts running with it faster than he can process it. So you got a guy who's not necessarily too evil, but he kind of has to be evil as he's conquering this new world, trying to learn about it while also trying to figure out, okay, are there players like me trapped in this game too? Because to him, he's like, yeah, okay, it's not a game, it's now real life. I have to get by and figure this out, but I have to do it carefully and smartly. Overlord is about a character of immense power in a new world where he tries to do good, but then can't bring himself to disappoint his evil minions, so he goes with their plans. Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it. Thank you, Crab. Yep. It's basically, Overlord is edgier How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, if you've seen that one. Because How Not to Summon a Demon Lord is funny, it's a good comedy. Overlord is if you take it to its logical extreme, but do it seriously. It's a really good series. It's fun to watch. It's just, yeah, main character is a little evil. Mostly, not necessarily because he is evil as a person, but out of necessity. Because he runs an undead tomb full of undead creatures. And so they're acting as programmed. And he's kind of going along with it because he can't disappoint them. Yeah, no, I highly recommend Overlord. It's a good anime. Anyways. Okay. So based on this guy, my phone's about to die, so I need to finish this quickly, but I want to try something. Because we said war paint on the side, so I want to see. I joined an alliance in a mobile game called Touch Me, named after a character in the show. That's glorious. Yeah, Lord Touch Me has a great entourage and legacy. Because part of it is these were people who played a video game, so they had some questionable names, and it's in the best way possible. Mobile game does add into the story some as well. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's right. I never got into that. So we said brown war paint. How's that for a design for his arm? That okay? I don't want to make it too colorful, so I don't want to get too ornate with it. But I wanted to see if I could try a simple, like, eye-shaped design. And I tried to link it with that chitin plate, just so that way it doesn't, like, overextend too much, but it's simple to draw on. But what say you guys? And they mentioned Touch Me so seriously as well. Like, it's kind of funny how serious they refer to him. Oh, yeah, no. It's always, oh, Lord, touch me this, Lord, touch me that. It's really good how they have to say that with a straight face, and everybody does. If I remember right, Touch Me Save Momonga. Yeah, I believe that sounds right. I can't say off the top of my head, but that does sound familiar. Thank you, Crab. All right, well, I will save painting the rest of the designs for another time, just because my phone's almost out of battery, so I gotta end stream. But I think we got some good progress on everything tonight. Oh, man. Because... So we got his color scheme decided, keeping the gray, doing a... I'm going to try for a soft purple on the underside. The brown war paint, I might change the color of the brown so I can make it a bit darker. But then tan for there. Got these guys touched up a little bit. Mostly just the... We mostly just touched up their... Mostly just this guy. We didn't really do much else except the metal on these guys. looks good. Maybe you can do some dwarf and stuff. Maybe. Because I don't remember too much about the Umber Hulk as a creature in D&D, so I should probably touch up on the lore to see if there might be something in there that I can drive that gives more designs ideas. But I'll make sure tomorrow when I stream again that we get this guy worked on, hopefully finished up, because I'm really curious to see how this turns out. But I will let you guys know when we do that tomorrow. Oh. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, for watching, and for talking and helping me figure out what to paint this guy. We got some good painting done, got some base coats thrown around, got things started. But I will see you guys whenever I see you next. Till then, thank you for your time, and I hope you guys stay safe until then.